When we were down in the Canaries sailing, we were intrigued by the clicking noises we could hear. We used to go down into the half-net stores to bring supplies up.
Just underneath all the bunks, and they were where the fridge freezer and everything was.
And it took us a day or two to realise that it was we were listening to the dolphins talking to each other, and it was coming through the hull of the ship. That was fascinating.
Yeah, so you would go down there and you'd hear this kind of thing, and you'd be like, oh, they're all having conversations with each other.
They're really intelligent animals.
They are, yeah. There was a great chief officer, Bob Lavery, who used to do captain's inspections, and he used to sort of wind people up. So his favourite was always putting peanut butter on the end of his finger and going into the toilets and sort of saying, "This isn't clean. What's this?" And everyone would go like, "Oh," kind of thing. And it would go, "Oh no!" And often enough we did lots of what was like City Lands voyages, which has taken young people who were sponsored from the likes of the poorest parts of Liverpool or Scotland or Wales, and taken children the age between 16 to 24 and basically given them a piece of life outside of their life. And so it was giving them also some structure, and maybe also it was also a place where they could feel safe, have no TV, no music, no nothing like that. What we did as cooks is introduce them into the galley and introduce them to cooking. And there were so many children who actually had never sort of had roast dinners or anything like that, or ate proper food, or even went fishing over the bow and catching fish, and we filleted them and cooked them straight away. And so that was really important to us.
We met on the schooners in 1996, I think, 2nd of February. Malcolm Miller was in refit. Jay should have returned home that day, but the girl who was designated to be cook's house had fallen and injured herself, so they asked Jay to stay on for another 2 weeks to assist. And then she never went home again.
Wow.
No, myself, and there was a who is now a vet, who we used to call Dodge. We both spent 6 months either side on one ship. I was on the Malcolm Miller, he was on the Winston Churchill, and it was a bit strange really, because we were both doing projects and we both stayed on the ships voluntarily, but from the ships I then stayed on, was asked from a trainee to be cook, and worked my way up to be there. One of the youngest cooks, a Scouser, and on one of those trips that was from a trainee who come from bad background, children's homes and things like that. And here we are, and now we have our own business, and been very successful, and the ships did that for me, and I could see what it could do for the children there too.
It's interesting how one little change can affect someone's entire life.
It does. It really does. My flatmate and myself, she actually applied to go onto the ships through college, and I was in college, and she put my name down, and I had no idea of what the ships were about, and I was picked and she wasn't, and so anyhow, so I tried to give the place back to her, and anyhow we both were taken on. So at 17, and we were in Birkenhead at the time, and we were sponsored to go onto the ships. And so we both went on there, and from there on I was selected as cook's arse, which was excellent. and then sailed till about 24, I suppose, so from 17 to 24, and then realised I had to get a proper job and start doing proper things and be land-based and develop a home and, you know, sort of that sort of thing. So that's what we did there. I just suppose seeing new things in life, seeing a new world is what the ships do to you. They take you out of an environment and they show you a broad stream of things, and even socially, speaking to people without mobiles and texts and all this sort of thing, and tablets. You don't need any of that when you're there. No, that's it. So that was a huge thing. Was just escaping away from all of that, and also enjoying things that you can't buy, like seeing whales and seals and seeing northern lights and things like that. It's fantastic. And as a cook, what was really inspiring, and I'm very, very passionate about cooking, was going to different ports and meeting up with suppliers, seeing different vegetables, trying different dishes, speaking to the locals. And at the time we didn't have the euro, so it was all like pesetas and that sort of thing. So it was very difficult kind of changing your mind and saying, that. So that was lovely, and that was very important.
Coping with the languages.
Language especially.
What did you speak originally?
My mother's Spanish. My mother's Spanish, and I speak very little Spanish, but Liverpool through and through. I know one particular cook was pretty naughty. Used to send me ashore with a couple of bills and say, go and speak to the fisherman over there and go and smile at them and see what fish you can get back. And there were also times where you go and see a crab pot or something, and you'd leave
bartering with fishermen at sea.
Yes.
Yeah.
See if you could get a few lobsters or a crab or something. We gave lobster thermidor to an all-girls crew from Glasgow on a tall ships race. They didn't get a dish each, but everybody had a spoonful of it.
Yeah.
Made a change from pot noodles anyway.
Yeah.
Well, there was one girl from Glasgow who came with a suitcase full of pot noodles, and that was it, because that's all she ever ate. She didn't eat fresh food.
I think I went for the energy bar and water.
She was enjoying her dinners by the time she got home though.
But I wasn't sure if I was going to stomach food on the sea, so I just thought, energy bar, okay, for a whole box of it.
No, you were. Well, if you've got a good cook, they'll make you Cornish fairings, which is a Cornish ginger biscuit.
We used to make Cook's Magic biscuits.
What's that?
Ginger-based biscuits. A local recipe. Cornish fairings are a large ginger biscuit.
That sounds cool.
Very good for your settling the tummy for seasickness.
Yeah.
So we used to call them the Cook's Magic biscuits. Go around the deck dollying them out.
The worst experience I ever had, and I did get scared, was 2 times, was climbing up the rigging, and as a cook you had to do sort of like permanent crew duties when the weather wasn't that great. I had to climb up the rigging, and I just remember climbing up there, and it was about 8 o'clock at night, and it was the seas were so rough, but we had some sails that had to be brought in, so a couple of us, there was myself and a couple of watch leaders, bosun, we all went up there and sort of pulled in the rigging and pulled in everything else, and my earring fell off, and I seen it going down the deck, and I seen it bouncing on the deck, and I thought, oh my word, oh no, oh my god, that's just too much. And that was extraordinary.
Did you
wow.
get it back?
No,
No,
we
it's
didn't
gone.
get
It's
it
gone
back.
forever.
Another time, sailing with Captain Pat. Again, the seas were quite rough, and I was in the rib, and the ship was coming in, and because I couldn't, the engine wasn't strong enough to get outside the ship because I had the fender on it,
Okay.
sort of pushing the ship out to try and get in.
Yeah.
I was getting caught in to the side of the dock, and I was thinking, oh my god! And the little maid there who was next to me was like, is everything all right? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And it's just normal. It's just what we do. And inside I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So, yeah, and then yeah, really funny, really, really funny.
Is that sailing at sea?
Valuable RYA book, yes, certainly got all the ticks in that, and got a lot of crew miles, lot of late night sailing, know the waters much more. And what I've learned most of all about the ships is that they are a jewel, a complete jewel in themselves. They are just brilliant, and if anyone could go onto them and have the experiences that I've had and I've shared with you, then that, you know, they would be 100 times a better person just for going on there. Normally, work-wise, we're very in control. Always have everything organised. Always be prepared for the unexpected. Always. That's rule number one. And so if you're prepared and you're focused, then everything's good. But if something does pop up, then what you have to do is rise above it, and then you have to kind of
Find the solution.
walk into one room, scream without anyone seeing, and then walk back out the room and go,
Don't affect everyone else.
oh, we've got the answer, let's do this. And so if you let it affect you, you let it affect other people. So the best thing to do is just to kind of just step away for a moment, and then that's how I deal with things in life, is exactly like that. But that's again the ships and panicky times. That's when you've got a crew who are looking upon you and are looking at you for direction and looking for some sort of calm and control and a bit of love there as well, actually, and humour. Then you know you have to be professional in that way, and that's where that's come from.
The great thing about cooking on the schooners was having the 3 trainees as galley rats each day. But it was the one area of the ship where they felt comfortable. Everything else was an entirely alien environment to them. But the galley, it was like a little area of security. So they would often sort of nip through for a chat or a bit of comfort.
Yes. I remember the time when we were sailing to supposed to be to Cork, and actually the sea was so rough we ended up going to Dublin. We had to ride out the storm basically, and anyhow we had lots of trainees there who were crying, and it was and the smokers couldn't smoke because we couldn't allow them on the and so yeah, bless them. So it was like I had 2 boxes of Kleenex tissues, and it was, are you okay? And but they come through the galley, and I'd be like, okay, tissue, go to the chart room, go and sit.
Go to your bunk and strap yourself in.
Yeah, so I'd go down, and I would be like, tissue, okay, okay. And bless, they loved it though. The thing is, it was horrendous at the time, but they walked away and absolutely loved it.
A lot of people find it, especially the first time, whilst it's happening, it was crazy hard. And I remember all I could think of was just okay, the second the ship moors somewhere, I'm just gonna take a train and go. But then the second it does, I don't.
You
I
don't
just
know
stay
because
on for another
you're
day.
intrigued. You want to see what happens next.
We used to put on the galley radio, we used to play that tape of Pergolese's Starbuck Martyr when it was very rough and people were feeling a bit uncomfortable. And then lots of people came up afterwards and said how calming they found that
We
piece
played
of
the
music.
music in the galley to keep everyone nice and calm. And there were other times where we used to, when the trainees or even the adults actually, open trips, the Scottish trips, and the adults are the worst. And when we went around sailing around the islands, and of course there was a lot of drinking with the adult trips, and so I would put on Good Morning Vietnam to get them up and get them ready first thing in the morning. And anyhow, we used to get them geared up, get them ready. So, my dream job would be to have my own yacht and sail the world.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate dream job.
I love you both lots. Bye.
I know we'll get there one day, but I'm not quite sure how, but we'll get there.
We'll see. Working hours and sleeping time.
Oh, long
Oh,
working
very
hours.
long,
We used to start
yeah.
about 5:30 in the morning,
Start cooking at 5:30. Wow.
and or get up at 5:30,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I forget what breakfast.
Well, it was
What time for it?
half past 5, and then first sitting was at
7:20
20 past
for
7.
breakfast.
Then the next one was about
8:10.
Yes, and then there was
Clear down, and then we'd make bread
Captain.
or bread rolls or
then there was a captain's meeting,
the 10 to 9 meeting.
10 to 9 meeting. Then after that, the 10 to 9 meeting, it was making bread, making biscuits, getting ready for smoko for 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, that finished, clearing down, straight into lunch. If the weather was nice, then you would do some baking and you try and put some things in the freezer, or you try and cook a couple of dishes just in case it's rough, and then the people used to think you were wonderful. So if you brought out a great big stew or something that you'd frozen down and you brought it out and it was really rough, they were like, oh, how did you manage that? So yeah, that was right after lunch. Then at 3 o'clock, smoko again. And then right after 3 o'clock you managed to have an hour's sleep, and then back in the galley for around about 4, and then after 4 straight back into getting ready for supper, and then that was about 5:20,
Something like that.
yeah,
I know I used to
And then-
try to get to bed for about 8 o'clock.
and then 7 o'clock, 10 past 7 I think it was,
Cleaning
second sitting, and then cleaning down, and you were often finished about 8:30, and then of course you go off and party with the crew.
Yeah.
If we were just sailing around the European coastline, we would be in somewhere every 2 or 3 days, and we would just then top up with fresh vegetables, fruits, salads, maybe get some local bread. If we were doing a long delivery voyage down to Lisbon or somewhere, or across to the Canaries, then you just have to think carefully about storing the ship, because you want to take everything with you for a week, 10 days, to
Yeah,
try and eke out the fall back on frozen vegetables as you get.
And of course, you have to plan out the ration.
Well, I used to plan out my whole stint. So knowing where I was going and the suppliers where you were going to, knowing what was fresh and local, and knowing what was cheap at the time, then you would go to the markets and buy what you could. And if, let's say, there was maintenance, you would spend time just cooking and freezing down solid dishes like a curry or a stew, or the casseroles, anything, a chilli, just so it's ready, just in case it's an emergency. So you've always got food to
Emergency food.
bring out. So they were always in tubs, big tubs, and biscuits as well, cake mixes, you name it. We used to just used to bake them up, freeze them down, or part cook them, especially biscuits, and then bring them out and then put them in the oven, and everyone would go, oh, and they'd smell it up on the on the decks, thinking, oh, what are these chocolate cookies she's done? Oh.
I think we actually made pasties one day on board, didn't we?
We did, yes, we made pasties.
We made pasties for 55 people.
55 people?
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot of crew members.
A lot of rolling
Yeah.
out.
Is that the most amount of people that you served for at once? Or is it more?
On the schooners, it was a maximum of 55.
Yeah.
On the,
Working on Tenacious, about 65 to 67.
Wow.
I think it was 72 on the Stavros and the Prince William. I can't remember, which was after the Winston Churchill and Malcolm Miller. So yeah, we went on to there. And
I remember having paella on the ship once.
yeah, I used
Can't
to do
remember
lots.
which ship it was, but yeah.
Yeah, I used to do lots of paella, lots and lots of it. I used to do a Spanish night when we were in the Canaries, and we used to have a barbecue halfway through.
Oh, we did a barbecue for 200 once.
Yes, we
In
did
St. Malo,
actually.
we had about 200 people on board. Well, not all at the same time, but
Yes,
in
we did.
total, just one half an oil drum barbecue. That was
A ticketed event, yeah.
yeah, that was very good. I took mine to overcoming it. I used to feel a bit ill sometimes if I'd been home for several weeks and then going back the first day or two sometimes.
You're not used to see it.
Yeah.
Do you get your sea legs back?
Oh no, mine was kippers. Oh, make me cook kippers or gammon. That would make me seasick, and I couldn't cook kippers or gammon unless I was shoreside. Otherwise, I couldn't do it. And so you wouldn't get a meal if I had to do that. So, but yeah, the only two things: kippers and gammon. And yeah, porridge is also very good for breakfast first thing in the morning. Puts a good lining on your stomach, so
Yeah.
that's very good. Although I did have one watch officer who complained about my porridge so much from the day he joined to the day he left, and he complained, and he said, you don't put salt in it, you don't put enough sugar in it, you don't put enough milk in it, you don't put enough. Well, and I thought, right, and you have to be tolerant with so many people, and I thought, right, this is it. And I don't know what it was, but at the end of the voyage, and I did get told, was told off, I dyed as porridge blue, and I said, right, now you've got something to complain about.
That's pretty frank.
I did get told off, although they were laughing when the captain was laughing when he was telling me off. Even on the last day, complaining about his porridge, I was like, oh, what?
Was there any time that happened?
Yes, there were times when you get foreign visitors and they would actually get on the ships. But the thing is, with the ships, a lot of it is, it's an adventure sailing holiday. So a lot of people have to work together naturally to actually make the ship move forward or have to produce food. So you would naturally be able to communicate in a way that you know, sort of say, this is what you pull, this is what you do, and everything was translated in a way, and so yeah, we got around it that way, and yeah, that wasn't a problem.
That's cool, yeah.
Never a problem.
Because I just said that because, you know, you meet a lot of different people all over the world.
Yeah, and there's always buddy systems as well, where you would, if there was someone particular who had a problem in the fact that they were hard of hearing or something like that, then you made sure that there was, well, the office would make sure that there was someone who was next to them that could actually walk them through the ship and be with them, so they were supervised at all times. And yeah, in the galley, always supervised and shown, but we always show people what to do, and then they will follow, and step by step. So,
Yeah.
but it's, yeah, all preparation. You have to be organised, doesn't it? Really.
They specialise in taking handicapped and disabled people
Yes.
away, so that very different environment to the schooners, much more positively charged. Everybody who was on there wanted to get 100% out of it. There was no feelings of I've been pushed into this or I've been made to come. So those first few days where there was some initial resistance, perhaps on the schooners, that atmosphere was never evident, and people were there to get the most out of their lives, or in some cases what was left of their very short lives. That was very good. Sending wheelchairs up into the rigging.
Yeah.
I was very touched with and felt a sort of particular affinity with blind people, taking them in, because they always wanted lots of tactile touching.
Yeah.
And to take, they would say, "Do you mind if I touch your face so I can get a feel of what
Yeah.
you look like?" They would hear your voice, but by touching your face and your body, they would then form a mental picture of how they perceived you looked.
Yeah.
But taking them around the galley, showing you would only have to do it once. Show them the cupboards, how the catches worked, how to open drawers.
Yeah.
There was always some little lever so that things weren't opening up by chance when the weather was a bit uncomfortable. And getting them to cook too. Always help them to make biscuits, especially.
Yeah.
It was something they could do and then feel the results of their cooking. So I always really particularly enjoyed helping and working with the blind.
Yeah, that's really awesome. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's similar what you do with people with language barriers. You kind of.
Recently, I actually. Have been together now?
20 years.
20 years. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Yeah.
And all by chance. In Sunderland Dockyard.
Yeah.
Did you fall in love with him first or the food first? His food?
It was. I'm not quite sure. It was. I remember.
She'd run away the minute I stepped on deck and came into the galley. I arrived about 8:30 in the evening. Barbara Campbell, who's now a captain, was the chief officer for the refit period on the Malcolm Miller, and she had frightened Jay to death about my stories of my diligence in cleaning and how everything had to be just so, and there'd be no messing around when he's in the cabin. So she took one look at me and ran off to the smoker's bench with her hot chocolate.
I did.
And hid smoking.
And then every day after that, we wore the same coloured jumpers or tops.
Oh,
or
you had that got to you particularly.
every day we would wake up and we'd have the same top colour on, or
Just
the
by
same
chance?
just by chance for 10 days. I think it was more than that. Yeah. Oh,
I was only there for just about 12 days, and then I flew off down to the Canary Islands, and you never went back home.
No, I stayed on the ships.
She was supposed to have gone back to Birkenhead College to finish her business studies.
She was still in business studies.
She was going to go into retail management, but that request from Barbara Campbell to stay and be cook's ass for another 2 weeks just turned her life completely.
Yeah, so that was that, and yeah, so we.
But you still got to do your business.
Yes, got the degree. Yeah. Where that took me, and from someone who was in children's homes and who has no family, who's an orphan, and then working my way through, and the ships gave me a path, I suppose, and then helped me study, and so that's what we did, and passed, got a job on the ships, permanent cook. Got my catering qualification whilst on leave, and so I did that quite quickly at Camborne College here in Cornwall, and took lots of part-time jobs whilst doing that, and sailing and doing all of that too. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, oh, you love the whale of a time. Cornwall's beautiful, it really is. It is.
It's really great.
No matter what the weather.
Yeah.
This unfortunately is in for the week.
Really? Okay. At least I know now.
But then
I
again,
bought summer clothes.
it could be changed by tomorrow.
You never know.
Never know.
Never know.
Yeah.